going on, guys? Let's get it. Welcome back to my channel. So as you guys see in the title of this video, I'm about to break down how is it that I go about trading head and shoulder pattern. And I know there's a lot of traders out there who actually trade this pattern, even though the outcome should be the same, but they trade it a bit more aggressive or a bit more conservative. I'm going to share with you guys my method, and I'm going to add some additional information what is it that you do after the completion of a head and shoulder pattern. Hopefully I can teach you guys something new, and if it's that you did appreciate the video, you did learn something new, please drop a like, comment and subscribe, and share this video with your friends as well. With that being said, please remember, I am not a financial advisor. I am just a regular guy on YouTube who loves trading and basically is just sharing my knowledge with you guys. So with that being said, let's jump into the charts, guys. So before I even get into the actual chart itself, let me show you guys what exactly a head and shoulder pattern should look like. So in our ideal case, or on a bullish upward market, because basically you can do find a head and shoulder pattern and the bearish trend as well, which is known as the inverted head and shoulder. But for right now, let's just take into consideration the case in which it is actually a bullish market. So what the market tends to do, and this can be at an angle which I actually will be showing you in a bit, is market starts at a particular region, push to the upside, creating a high point, falls back down, finding support right in the region of where it basically started, and then continue again to the upside, creating a higher high point with respect to the previous high point here, finding some resistance, push back to the downside, and finding back support again right back to where it has initially started. And this now is actually starting to become that of a neckline, because now you have a left shoulder, you have the head of the pattern already completed. For me, this is where I start to look out for my entry with respect to the head and shoulder pattern, because I'm a bit more aggressive when trading this pattern. So not just looking for random entries and hoping that it would actually turn out to be a head and shoulder pattern. I actually observe the overall market trend and structure and see exactly what's going on using trend line and my fit tool as well to look for the best entry, so I can basically get within the market with some sniper entry for maximum peak potential. So with that being said, so whenever the market starts to push to the upside, this is where I start to look for, and the market tends to get rejection right in the same region of that of the left shoulder. So once the market tends to reach in this particular region, you tend to see some rejection candles start kicking in, some dragonfly doji, perhaps some engulfing candle and stuff, dark cloud cover. However, most definitely you can overly extend beyond that of the left shoulder, but you can most definitely start to look out to see if the market will get that rejection within this particular region here, and if it does and falls back to the downside, finding back support basically right where the market has been finding support for the longest time, then you pretty much have a completion of a head and shoulder pattern, where this would be the left shoulder, the head of the head and shoulder pattern, and this would be the right shoulder, the shoulder of the head and shoulder pattern. But as I said, do expect that you can do push above that region of the left shoulder, but as long as you don't take out the previous high point, get some rejection, fall back to the downside, you still have that head and shoulder pattern in completion. Now this is where a lot of traders tends to get in, because it is more secure. The head and shoulder pattern is already created, and now they can actually trade it to the downside. So they wait for the break of the neckline, that retest, and they tend to get the entry right within this particular region. And when targeting to the downside, all you simply do is basically measure the distance from the neckline to the top of the market here, pull it over to where the market breaks out of the neckline. So most definitely left shoulder, head, right shoulder, this becomes the neckline, and now you have a target area to the downside as to where the market can potentially get to. Now for me, whenever this head and shoulder pattern is completed, my next trade is actually looking for the market to basically return and retest that neckline again. So I normally extend out my neckline, and the market tends to pretty much always come very close to the neckline, or it basically come and touch that neckline again and find back resistance, either breaks above it or continue a further jump to the downside. However, my main focus right now is to show you guys that after the completion of the head and shoulder pattern, look for the market to come back and retest that neckline again, where you can clock in some more pips to the upside. And as I said, I will be looking for my entry here, which is a bit more aggressive, but I am using additional technical analysis tool for my entry without random guessing. So if you see that you guys have a trading style, you can actually try to implement it once you see the completion of the left shoulder and the head, to see if is it that you can get a better entry right here for that of the top of the right shoulder. So whenever you start to fall to the downside, you have maximum pip potential. And if you do miss it, then you can actually observe the market for what it is, and then you can get in right here and short the market with some good lot size, protect your trade and stuff like that. And after that completion, then you can trade back to the upside. So with that being said, let me just jump right into the actual market itself and show you guys exactly this pattern. So first off, we're going to start off with gold. And as I said, I'm going to show you this at an angle. So this one here, head and shoulder pattern, is not the cleanest one, but it's actually there. So sometimes you do have to, you know, open the eyes, zoom out a bit to observe exactly what it is that is going on within the market. So we did have that push to the upside, creating that higher point right here, push back down to downside, get rejection with respect to this wick in this particular region. And the next thing too, guys, please keep in mind that your trend line might not be as perfect where it is. It's 100% touching the tip of the wicks are at a particular point. Sometimes resistance area is just a region and not a specific point. So back into this again, we did push to the upside here, creating a higher high point with respect to this previous high point here. Then we fall back down and pretty much got resistance, or find support I should say, right with respect to the same region here. Then we push back to the upside, creating that right shoulder. And as I did state before, that right shoulder tends to find resistance pretty much in the same area of that of the left shoulder. So this was actually a perfectly good example. Fall back down here, and basically now we have the completion of a head and shoulder pattern where we have the left, the head, and that of the right shoulder. For me, as I said, I would actually look to get in right here with something like this. Of course, I'm going to check my pips, probably place it above this previous wick here, which was the previous high point that the market created with respect to the left shoulder here. And then my destination would actually be to the downside, where I measure the distance of the neckline. So measure the distance of the neckline to the top of the market, and I just simply pull this over here to where the neckline should break out of, and this would actually be my take profit. Also keep in mind that the market tends to sometimes overly extend beyond that of the region of where you actually should take profit. However, don't let that deter you from actually what the market is doing. Just use your regular technical analysis as well to incorporate within market, observe the market trend, and see if you can find back that entry point for a trade to the upside. So let's just play this and see how it actually works out. And boom, we have our TP that has been smashed, and we have just clocked in some very nice pips on gold. Very good risk to reward ratio. And as I said, using other technical analysis, observing the market structure, you should now begin to look for an entry to try to get back very close to this trend line, or pretty much to touch this neckline I should say. So let's see how this plays out. So we did get that wick that pushed down a bit further, and we just basically have a piercing line. This is known as a piercing line. The opposite of it would be a dark cloud cover, similar to what we have going on right here. And as you can see, the market push back to the upside, and we have that nice, we could have a very nice trade on gold again to the upside, placing a stop loss at entry or break even, so you could clock in some very nice people. And if you guys trade gold, you know that some very regular movement or some small amount of pips can actually make you very profitable. So just run this a little bit more to see exactly how this plays out. We did get a push, and that is more comfortable for me right here. That is pretty much very nice, because that's just a few pips shy of that of the neckline itself. So yeah guys, that's what I'm showing you with regarding to the head and shoulder pattern. As a matter of fact, let me just jump over to another currency pair that I actually did mark off, so I can show you guys exactly the same thing that actually worked out. So GBP JPY, I did observe one here as well, because I remember trading it. So extend this out a bit. All right, just get rid of this bar replay again. All right, so clearly, as you can see, this would be the left shoulder. I should have shown you the tool itself. So you have the left shoulder coming up for the right, the head itself came back down, finding resistance pretty much in the same region, move to that of the right shoulder, get a completion, and then you have the break to the downside. And this is also one of the reasons why I tend to try to get within the market here, because you don't always get that retest of the neckline before falling down, and you can actually miss the trade. So I start to look for my entry here, and just as I said, that resistance tends to come in the same region of that of the left shoulder. And if I should draw my target area from the neckline, pull this over here, as you guys can see, we pretty much got right within the same region of that of the distance from the neckline to the top of the head. And as I said, when the market do that completion, it tends to retrace back to the neckline. So if I extend this over a bit, you guys can see that we basically got right to the neckline. And if is it that you guys are actually interested in trading stuff like Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, I did mark off one on Bitcoin as well. You can use the same trading style in this market, the cryptocurrency market as well. Any market, anywhere you observe this head and shoulder pattern, it's pretty much the same outcome. So just as I said before, we have this left shoulder coming in here, right shoulder coming in here, and then you have that completion of that head and shoulder pattern. Measure the distance of the neckline to the top of the market, simply pull this over, and you have a destination of where the markets can get to. And after that, the market tends to retrace right back to the neckline. So if I just extend this out a bit, you guys can see we pretty much got right back to that region. And let me just show you guys one more thing. So for Bitcoin right now, if you guys are into cryptocurrency and you love this stuff, Bitcoin had a major head and shoulder pattern, and I did post this on my IG page. So please check me out on Instagram at engine trading _ so the link is also in the description. So as it is, this was a major head and shoulder pattern on Bitcoin that freaks out a lot of person when Elon Musk tweeted that Bitcoin is bad for the environment and was actually burning a lot of energy. It was actually right within this region here, and a lot of people said news is what affected the market. But as you can see, we did have that left shoulder coming in, we did have that head completed, we did have that retest back to the same region as to where the Bitcoin market started, push to the upside again, and we got rejection pretty much right in the same region of that of the left shoulder. And if we should measure the distance of this neckline to the top of the market, pull it over, we basically have a region as to where Bitcoin should basically fall to. And you guys remember what I just said, whenever that head and shoulder pattern is completed, look for the market to basically retrace right back to the neckline. So as you can see, Bitcoin did create a low point, the 10-year overly extend a little bit, which I also did mention, but as you can see, we are now creating higher low points with respect to the previous one. We are now creating higher highs with respect to previous high points. So most definitely seems like we're about to get to our target area. So yeah guys, thank you for tuning in. Remember, I am not a financial advisor. Do your own personal research, and if you do like this video, please drop a like, comment and subscribe. Let's get it.